Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are back with building an asteroid station, and today we're going to cover the control center / room. So let's get started. All right, so this is what we got so far. A control center slash room. And we haven't thought everything through just yet because we've run into several issues. Number one, by identifying a mistake that I did do in terms of drilling a hole upwards and then building new walls. I built one end a little too long. That is why our left and rights were not an odd number. It was an even number. So throughout the time lapse, you will see that I moved some of the pistons and basically put up a new wall. So now everything is symmetrical in terms of being odd numbers and everything like that. Which that probably took the longest to do. As you could have seen when I was trying to merge these half blocks, it started wiggling out and destroyed a lot of blocks as well. So that just made me have to redo everything. And then, of course, putting up that extra wall so then we have a balanced look to it. So the balanced look now is basically, I forget which side it was, but we were one too close this way versus the other side. So then now everything's even. There's a bit of a hole here because I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this flushed into the walls. Because if it's too flush like this, it doesn't work. So for an example, right this minute, you'll see that it's kind of just stuck there for whatever reason. So if I were to reverse this, which it is already reversed, but trying to get it back down, it's kind of stuck. And every time it gets stuck like this, basically, I would just need to kind of grind one piece down. And it'll just release it. So that's not a good fix, obviously, because we gotta keep grinding it down constantly. So that's not fun. So we gotta find a way to kind of maybe not make it flush, but I was doing something like this, like a half slope block. So then it works okay. But I think this right here is still a problem. So I might have to just work with half blocks until we get a certain height into it. So right now, as you see it, It could be flush, but it's not working out as great as I thought it would be. So this is as low as I kind of wanted to go. And it's going to be airtight, air vented, and things like that. Which is a nice kind of 1 block height window. And then we have the bridge windows right here. And down here is going to be half blocks holding it down, basically, or being the floors. And in order to do the floors, I used the corners and did these light panels. I don't know if I want to keep it that way, but I can't build anything on top of that corner or all the other corners that has it. But mainly that was to stabilize the flooring, so then we could build the panels underneath it. I mean, I could just throw in a column here instead, or a pillar. That could work too, for design purposes. But yeah, as you can see, I didn't figure out more than that as well. In terms of like, how do I get in here? That's going to be an interesting question. But as you can see, the pistons are here. And each piston is connected to the connectors or conveyor junctions of the antenna up top. Or solar panels up top. Not antenna. And then it's connected to this piping back into our system here. So yeah, more of identifying, fixing the mistake. Now I'm just going to have to figure out how to get this thing kind of more flushed out. When it comes to kind of getting this thing retracted. So I want to retract it as high as possible to make it flushed. But as you see here, it gets stuck. So that's what I'm going to work with. Probably have to work with half blocks so it won't be flushed at all. It's going to have to be released a little bit. And you'll see a little bit of a gap, which wouldn't be a problem anyways, because it's going to be an airtight system in here as well. It's just not going to look as flushed, which is okay. But yeah. So we have the control room here. We can make this as high as we want it to be. It could be 1 more block higher or so for a roof or ceiling. I think a 2 block height is more than enough. And then from there, we can add a whole bunch of these like control modules and things like that. So something like these, we just throw all around the sides here. And we'll design it kind of nicely. That it doesn't look too crazy. But that was the plan. And then up here, as you saw in the time lapse, I don't think I have a hole here, but we'll create one anyways. This is the piping system for everything to the pistons underneath and into the control center. And this is the main spot for the solar panels. So then that's how we're gonna find a way to loop it around to get back to the base of the operations. So right now we have that, as I mentioned before, that piping right over there. That's doing it because that's part of that wall. I do need to find a way to eliminate this piping, which we did before, but we weren't connected to anywhere else. So we probably have to loop it around somewhere around here or something like that and back into there or on this side. Probably this side, if anything. But yeah, it's unfortunate that is kind of stuck. Yeah, it's kind of stuck now too. And for whatever reason, just releasing it like that gets it going. But right now it is pretty low, so I think we're about what, only 3 blocks clearance, 3.5 blocks clearance. So if we get it all the way up, then of course we have like a 6 block clearance, which is more than enough to be honest. And this thing doesn't even need to be this big, but might as well. But now my other situation is, how do I get in there? So I got to figure out a whole door system, or something like that. I was thinking, if it was even possible to do, is probably a piston underneath here and elevator up. That could work, but how do I make that airtight? We could do something a little clangy, which is actually put a door there, like a half door, or half block kind of door. I forget which door can do that. So one of these doors, probably offset door or a regular door, or maybe a hatch door. Actually the hatch won't work. Or even a hangar door or something like that. We get a piston where we stand here, and then we just elevator up. But of course we need some gravity generations for that as well. Or because right now with a jetpack, we could probably just put a door down here and get in there, which is good enough, I guess. But yeah, I think in terms of future wise, we gonna have to do this to it if we want to go pretty up there and make it kind of like able to retract a lot more. We're gonna have to put these kind of half blocks like this. But I gotta figure out this whole stone situation, because it's gonna stick out a little bit, which is not what, it's not something we don't want. So we kind of want to make sure that goes away. So I think I gotta get the height of it from the retraction, and then go all the way up to the very end. Then we can use the light armor kind of like this half slope block here. So then that'll be flush with this right here. And hopefully that doesn't get us stuck. So that's probably the next episode, just kind of fixing that up. But I'm glad I was able to identify a little early on. I was a little confused, like, why was it so off? Where the blocks just didn't work out. Like, you see here is a little triangle here, and there was a little triangle here. That made sense. But then I didn't have that. I was actually one block too close. I was like, what is going on for a good few seconds until I realized, yeah, I'm just one block too much. So I evened it out, fixed the mistake that we had there. And then we now have an official control center. But of course, we need to put the interior design pieces to it in the future. Other than that, we still need to look for platinum, gold, and silver, because we have none of that whatsoever. We have uranium, but that's not going to help us whatsoever. Hopefully, we'll find out very soon. And of course, we still got to make them rooms. Hope you guys are going to continue to stick around. If you enjoyed the series and this time lapse, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below, even to just say hi. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.